As night falls, it's time to hit the road. And tonight, we are moth hunting. Ishbel is a ranger at the nature reserve around the Grey Mare's Tail near Moffat. She's picked the best weather, location and time of year for peak moth catching conditions. With the trap set up and the cameras rolling, it's time to deprive the local midgies of their meal and come back in the morning. Although one or two do escape before we can identify them. No matter though, more than 20 different species fell into our clutches.
We've got quite a few nice things today, a good species list, and I think one of them could be quite exciting. So the common footman is not a species we've recorded on site before, so that's a brand new one for us. That's great. They can get quite crammed in some of these nooks. In the bottom one we've got another two dark arches. Hiding right below them at the bottom is an antler. So these are real smart little moths. They get their name from this white streak that supposedly looks like an antler of a deer.
Everyone loves a butterfly, don't they? There's butterfly counts all year round, people love to spot them, but moths are, in your opinion, more important?
Yeah, I think so. I think moths get a bad rap. Everyone tends to think they're a bit dull, brown and boring. I hope we've disproved that today by what we've found. They're also hugely important for us for a number of reasons. So there's a huge variety of moths compared to that of butterflies. So there's just under 60 species of butterfly in the UK, and for moths it's about 2,500, just over that mark. And they're an important indicator for us. They respond, as lots of insects do, very quickly to change, climate change, habitat change. But we've been studying moths for many years in the UK, going back 50 plus, so we've got really good ideas of what their trends are doing, which we lack for other groups. But they're also important, they're important in food webs, so they're a great source of food for lots of birds and bats.
And you wouldn't think it, given that you think moths are always out at night, but they're really important in terms of the pollination process.
Always out at night is another one of those myths about moths, so there are day-flying moths, absolutely, but yeah, both nocturnal and day-flying moths are really important in the pollination process. And there's some research done that shows that potentially they're second only to bumblebees and how important that pollination is for some species.
Are moths under threat because of climate change?
Yeah, so moths have declined by about two-thirds of species of moths have declined in the UK over the last 50 years, and that's up to about a 70% decline, so that's quite drastic. And it's a combination of things, so climate change is definitely a big one. It's changing their flight timing, so last year we had a particularly wet summer and it was pretty cold. That's not good for insects. This year we've had a lot more warm weather and we've had good catches like the one we had last night. Unlike a lot of moths which have their wings in a much flatter position, these sit with their wings in a sort of tented position. That's quite distinctive for their group. So moths like warm conditions, and quite often when they're getting ready to fly they do what this little antler moth's doing now, and they vibrate their wings and it just warms up their body and their flight muscles ready to take off.
Ishbel's job as a ranger for the National Trust for Scotland is funded by the People's Postcode Lottery, but her interest in moths began long before.
I started, I think, when I was around about 10 years old. I was out at a local nature reserve to where I grew up and met a county recorder who was there looking for a very rare moth. And we certainly did find the cousin German in such numbers that I had them crawling up the legs of my waterproof trousers. But we also found lots of other fantastic species, and from there I was really hooked. I've been moth trapping for nearly 15 years and I'm still learning, I'm still checking things. You can see it unravelled there, it's proboscis. It's potentially hungry, so it's very nice of him to show us his proboscis. Moths cover all bases. You can do it at night while you're sleeping, they can all come into your trap so you wake up. It's like Christmas morning every morning with a moth trap. You never know what you're going to find.
Time to release what we caught and have a greater appreciation for moths, the unassuming pollinators of the great outdoors. Isla Todd, ITV News.